Lionel Cyr was born in 1935, the youngest of 9 boys in a French-speaking family from Saskatchewan, and he well remembers the move to Port Alberni, a trip he took by train alone with his father, ahead of the rest of the family.
And when we got to Jasper, the train stopped there for 2 hours, and my dad said, "I'm gonna go for a walk, you stay here." And I wanted to go with him, but no, you stay here. And 2 hours later, the conductor came around saying, "All aboard," and no papa.
No papa, and young Lionel, not speaking enough English to communicate with the conductor. Panicked, the little boy bolted, searching the streets for his father until, desperate to make someone understand, he ran back to the train platform one more time.
And I said to the conductor again, "No papa." Well, he said something, I don't know what he said. And he grabbed me by the arm and pushed me into the train, and there was Dad inside.
Yes, Papa was there. He'd come back a different way, and he and Lionel had missed each other. But even as a little boy, Lionel knew the truth. His dad hadn't just gone for a walk.
He didn't want me to go with him because he found a water hole, we call it. But Dad had a weakness with alcohol. And something that I inherited later in life. But my dad couldn't do nothing about his drinking, but I did.
Now Lionel is quick to point out that he loved his dad, that he was a good man with a weakness for alcohol. And although he and his brothers were regularly called to walk their dad home from the bar, it wasn't something they talked about.
We paid attention to our parents. If they said jump, we jump, you know, and that's the way it was.
In many ways, it wasn't surprising that Lionel drank a lot. After all, he'd started drinking with his dad. But where his father couldn't see that his behavior affected anybody else, Lionel could. At 25, he'd married the love of his life, and he couldn't live with what he saw reflected in her eyes.
I used to come home, I was impaired. And I could see by the look on her face that I was a disgrace. You know, and that worked on me for a long time before I finally decided that's enough. And it was in 1962.
1962. Lionel sought out a friend who he knew attended AA, Alcoholics Anonymous.
And that's when I admitted to him that I had a drinking problem. He said, "Good, now we can talk."
They did talk, and that friend became Lionel's sponsor. And although it took years for Lionel to speak of his alcoholism outside of AA, he's never looked back.
All my friends I used to drink with, they're all gone. And some of them were likable, but they drank the way I did. Couldn't find the bottom of a bottle, it seemed.
This year, Lionel marked his 55th year of sobriety, an anniversary so rare that when a commemorative medallion was ordered, it had to be specially made because they're just not kept on hand.
Today, I have absolutely no regrets for the last 55 years that I've been sober. I can honestly say I've never had a bad homecoming in the last 55 years.